911, what's your emergency?
Help! My bitch wife found out about my other bitch wife, and now they want a divorce.
Sir, it sounds like they're entitled to that.
But it's Christmas!
Nice.
I thought that was stellar. I felt very in the shoes of this opening call guy. And right. I sympathize with him. You know how you have to like access your characters on that level to the point where like you can't even really see them as villains? That's how I feel with this guy, you know?
I really heard the desperation in your voice.
Yeah.
The realistic desperation, as if your two bitch wives really were divorcing you.
You know, it's almost Shakespearean. But anyways, welcome back to the First Respodcast, everybody.
Welcome back. And Merry Christmas, because this week it's Christmas in April, because although Ryan and I are recording this on March 30th, so it is still Christmas in March for us, you will not hear it until Christmas in April. So happy Christmas in April, everybody. Today we are discussing Season 5, Episode 10, Wrapped in Red, directed by Brenna Malloy, written by Lindsay Bolio and Nadia Abbas-Madden. Now on Hulu, much like the Haunted episode was called Haunted in parentheses Halloween, this one is called, no parentheses, this one on Hulu is just labeled Wrapped in Red Christmas.
So I noticed this. And it wasn't until I went to the IMDb to look at the cast for this episode that I was like, wait a minute, something's going on here. So I love the lack of subtlety and like trusting your audience to know that it's a holiday episode.
Hulu is really like talking down to us these days. It's like, just so you know, this one is a Christmas episode.
Because it's not like that Halloween episode where it's like it didn't have that much to do with Halloween.
No, this one is like Christmas from start to finish.
It's so Christmas. We open in Santa's village and we end on like a scene of beautiful Christmas-themed tranquility, kind of.
Yes. There is a Christmas song playing over every scene. Buck has a Santa hat on in most scenes he's featured in. Like, it's unmistakable.
This is the Chris smashes the gingerbread house episode. Like you can't get any more Christmas than this. This is pure Christmas spirit, which is also why I love it so much, because as you guys know, I love Christmas. And I'm so excited. I don't know if I remember
this about you. It's been too long since we've done a Christmas episode.
Well, the thing is, we've never done a Christmas episode around Christmas. We've never done a Christmas episode around Christmas. And so
one day we'll get there.
It just gets lost in the sauce. But I'm not mad about that, because it means that we get to have Christmas year round. And it's also really warm in New York today. So I like to
really warm in Minnesota
imagine
today, even.
That I'm in the cold in Christmas with some hot chocolate.
Or we can imagine that we're in LA Christmas, because everybody's in like normal warm weather clothes in this episode.
I don't want to be in LA. I don't want.
No,
I was just thinking about this.
But you would like to be in close proximity to Buck, wouldn't you?
Well, yes, but we can do that more intimately and anywhere in the world that where it is, not punishable by death.
Sure.
So the thing is, I was having this epiphany the other day, where it's not even that I hate California. I've been to LA. I like LA. It's fun. But I don't
really, but you do you.
The thing is, I don't like when I'm watching a show or a film, and unless it's like a Western or like set in like Monument Valley or something like that, I don't like it where like when like the lighting and like the color grading looks like it's like like a really warm day with like a blue cloudless sky, because if it's above 80 and there's a cloud in the sky, if you ask me to hang out, I'm gonna say no.
Well, okay. I do agree at the very least when the context is Christmas, because it's like, how am I supposed to get into the Christmas spirit with no snow and hot chocolate and mittens? And
well, we do get a little bit of hot chocolate that drives some drama later on in this episode.
True.
But for now, we open on a shot of some reindeer. Oh,
yes.
We open on some cute little reindeer at a stall in Santa's village. I don't know if I've asked you this before, Have you ever eaten reindeer?
I feel this sounds familiar. I feel like you have asked me this before. And no, Ryan, of course I have not eaten reindeer.
Okay, you're missing out. But it's such a fun start to this episode. I love the very lush set decorating they've done with the Santa's village. They've really spared no expense with the lights.
You know that meme that's like, what the hell is a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas? That's kind of how I feel watching these reindeer in fucking LA. Who put those there?
They're not supposed to be here.
Those guys are not happy.
I hope they're at least being kept in a climate controlled enclosure during the daytime.
They kind of don't look like they are.
Okay, well, there's abuse of reindeer at the top of this episode.
Literally, content warning. But the gist of this scene is that we've got this mother with her child and nanny, seemingly, and they're waiting to see Santa, and her stupid, unavailable husband is, I guess, getting on a flight because she's leaving him a message like, hey, I know you might already be up in the air, but, we're about to see Santa, so if you're available, I thought maybe we could FaceTime. And of course, he doesn't pick up because he's a deadbeat.
Okay, so a few things to note about this woman right off the top.
Mm-hmm.
One, I texted Jane this, but she's dressed and styled like Ann Coulter in American Crime Story. Down to the shape of her hair. It was really throwing me off. And then I was so mad when they had the husband reveal because I thought we were getting 2 lesbian episodes back to back in the opening call, no less.
No, it is kind of weird. It is what are you supposed to assume of these 2 women of about the same age with their little kid? I guess you're just supposed to assume because she's on the phone with the husband. It is a little confusing if you don't know what's happening next.
But Kobe Smulders in season 3 of American Crime Story can't get her husband on the phone, and so
I feel like she kind of looks more like real Ann Coulter than fake Ann Coulter. Her face looks more like real Ann Coulter to me. Maybe
this is the actress they should have gotten in that case. Maybe that would have bumped up the Rotten Tomatoes score of that.
This was
season.
Her retroactive audition, fuck you audition for not getting the part.
Yeah, I think didn't this come out before that? I think that season came out in 2024.
Okay,
I could be lying.
I haven't watched American Crime Story. I wouldn't know, but maybe.
Oh, you haven't watched any of it? Oh, the O.J. Simpson season was really good.
Okay.
But anyways, the daughter, who's missing her absentee dad, she goes, "Daddy!" And then the camera pans over to reveal the father with his other family.
With his entire other family. He has a wife and 2 little boys. 2 little boys. That's right. It's a polygamist who has not told his polygamy wives about each other. He's been living a double life. This is so Lifetime. If it weren't played for comedy, this would be a Lifetime movie. My husband's secret life. My husband's secret wife. My husband's secret family. My husband's deadly secret. It could be any number of those.
But he also picked the... Damn, I was trying to do a wrong pun and I couldn't think of anything. Okay, well, he picked the wrong day to go to Santa's village. Because...
True, and I would say the women picked the wrong husband, for sure.
Oh, for sure. When are we going to get Vivica A. Fox in this show? When are we going to do it?
So true. I need her to cameo. I need it. And at the end, I need her to go looks like you picked the wrong 911 dispatcher. Or realistically, I think she should be paired up with Athena so that at the end she can be looks like you messed with the wrong LAPD sergeant.
Oh my God. Imagine if Vivica played that detective in season 8 who kidnaps Maddie. Imagine.
Oh my God.
Imagine the joints. That would have elevated that entire storyline so much.
That's with the Wrong movies, one thing I think they still need to do is they've never had Vivica play the villain in a Wrong movie, and I would love to see them do that. That would be such a fun twist on the Wrong franchise.
Well, I guess she's too employed because she stays employed because she works hard. And so Ryan Murphy couldn't afford her. Was what we're saying. But the families lock eyes and oh shit, shit's about to hit the fan, guys. The nanny calls him a perro, which is Spanish for dog. I said
Well,
that in an
it's
embarrassing American accent, so everyone make fun of me in the comments, please. I tried to roll my R's. I tried.
the gag they do is they have the mom be like, "You son of a," and then the nanny calls him a pero. So it's like,
Because the gag is
you can say bitch on network TV, so I don't really know why they felt the need to just like it kind of just feels like an excuse to like exoticize this like Latina nanny, which is already kind of like a stereotypical trope.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm not going to read that much into it, but shout out to the needle drop here because the song Run Rudolph Run by Chuck Berry starts playing during a scene of a guy running. Classic 911.
He's wearing a little Rudolph sweater too, so it's literally Rudolph running for his life here.
And they did introduce us with that shot of the reindeer, so it is very thematically coherent. We can assume that this guy is representative of a reindeer. Presumably in like reindeer folklore, they are considered
cheaters,
duplicitous and cheating and untrustworthy.
Yeah. My favorite fun fact about Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen is that they're all misogynists.
Right.
So,
and somebody needs to say it.
And it's going to be us. And Rudolph running for his life and knocking people over, they're chasing him, and he gets hit by the trolley.
He gets hit by a quaint little trolley.
Clang, clang, clang went the trolley. Ding, ding, ding went the bell.
Yes, and in the call, one of the wives is like, a trolley just ran over my husband, and the other one's like, not your husband, my husband. Like, you can imagine. This bit kind of writes itself. It's kind of hacky, whatever.
I thought it was funny. The 118 responds, the guy's name is Artie, which I mentioned for no reason.
Which could mean nothing.
And he's got like a crazy fracture, like exposed bone poking out of his
Here's
ankle.
Here's the line from, I forget if it's Buck or Eddie, because of course they're teaming up to help the guy. One of them says, right and left ankles are broken. One for each wife? That was a good line.
That sounds like Eddie, because Eddie's being such a little drama monger in this scene.
No, that is more of an Eddie line, but I feel like it was Buck for some reason.
I mean, they're both stupid and gay, and we love them for that, but they're both very bitchy, so it could have been
it
them.
was Eddie said the first part, and Buck said the second part.
Oh my god, they finish each other's sandwiches. Buddy.
Literally, they're so in love, you guys. Are we all buddy maxing? Being in the 911 fandom has actually been fun recently, except for all the people on Twitter. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Nobody's fun anymore in the 911 fandom. Whatever happened to fun?
So bored I could die. Ravi goes to deal with the driver. He's like, "Are you sure you're not hurt?" And he's like, I'm sure. I don't want to leave my car." And he's like,
yeah, he's like, "I'm safer in here." Yeah,
because it's about to get bloody out there. The women are pouncing on each other. And the 118 is just sort of taking it all in. It's amusing as an opening call. He says he's going to fake amnesia because he hit his head. And meanwhile, Discount Ann Coulter, I can't believe I just said that. What's full price Ann Coulter? It's so bad. But anyways, Bargain Bin Ann Coulter over here is doing the math with the other woman. Like, because of the ages of their kids. The kids of the other woman are 8 and whatever, and her daughter is like 5 or something. And so she's like, "Oh my god, I'm the other woman. It turns out I was saving all my love for him."
Yeah, she's like, "I'm the second wife? Like, you bastard." Classic, it's not easy being the second wife in the polygamy situation.
And they're wheeling him away, and they're like, do either one of you want to go with them? And he's like, "I love you both." And they're just like, "No." Like, there's no bigger ick you could get than finding out that your husband is married to someone else and has another family with them, which is a thing that happens, by the way. This is a thing that happens in the real world, and I've heard stories about it.
Yeah,
and let me
not
just
like
say,
constantly, I hope, but yes, it does happen.
In all the stories I've heard of this, it's always been a man marrying multiple women. I don't think I've ever heard of a woman.
Yeah, why are no women taking advantage of 2 men in this way? Yeah. I'm just saying, ladies, like, break that glass ceiling already and get yourself a second secret husband.
That's a level of girl bossery that we as a society have not tapped into.
I guess it is kind of harder for a woman, at least a cis woman, to like hide biological children from another family, because they'd be like, why are you pregnant? Why did you give birth today? And you just got to be like, oh, don't worry, kitten.
Maybe she ships one off to the boarding school. Ooh, what if she keeps one of the kids in the shed?
Ooh, yeah. Or like in the basement and feeds it rats.
Yeah. Okay, this is interesting. We could workshop this and really turn this into a screenplay.
Yeah, or like a really intense like thriller stage play.
For our, like, if we were to turn this into a Lifetime movie, what would we call it?
It depends on if it's the shed or the basement.
Let's
if it's the basement, I could see it being like buried beneath her lies. If it's the shed, I could see it being like, or I could see it either way being like the family she hid away, or like
what if
my
the one is
secret child
shedding her past skin? Ooh.
Honestly, Lifetime titles don't even get that level of like abstract and artistic. They're very literal.
Mine would be more like a cheesy like 80s novel with like a
an erotic thriller from the 90s or something
with a clinch cover. We need a clinch cover for this story.
I'm loving this in any form, but anyway, they take the guy off to the hospital, and that's about it. And Bobby's like, happy holidays, because he's woke.
He's woke. He believes in all the holidays, and he celebrates them all.
We love that for him.
My woke king.
What a woke
and then we
king.
Get the title
Even
card.
though this episode is remarkably Christoph-centric, like... You know what I mean?
Well, it's true. We don't get any Jewish characters, you know.
Or just anyone who doesn't celebrate Christmas. And I'm not saying this is some horrible, you know, I'm not trying to be all, you needed to have a character celebrating Hanukkah and a character celebrating Kwanzaa and a character who's completely secular and a character who acknowledges that their celebration of Christmas is not tied to religion. But I do think it's kind of interesting. Like, I've definitely seen Christmas episodes on TV shows that are a little more acknowledging of like, well, it's not like everyone celebrates Christmas. No, on this show, everyone celebrates Christmas. Everything revolves around Christmas. I've said this before, that I find the Christmas episodes funny because suddenly, for one episode, everyone's emotional conflicts have to revolve around Christmas. So in this episode, like, Christopher has a Christmas-related, like, emotional breakdown.
And, like, you know, Bobby and Athena are having, like... Christmas themed with May.
Christmas related blues. Buck is having Christmas blues because Maddie isn't here. Hen's having Christmas blues because Chimney isn't here.
I don't think I've ever seen like a depiction of Kwanzaa on screen, like ever.
To be fair, I've heard people say that like the extent to which people celebrate Kwanzaa is kind of greatly exaggerated by like media that we grew up with and like kind of what we learned in school. Like, I don't think it's a very popular holiday, but yeah, some people certainly still celebrate it.
Yeah. The closest I've ever seen to like a on-screen celebration, and this is maybe just because I'm very, very white, but the closest I've ever seen to like an on-screen celebration of Kwanzaa is this episode of Semi-Homemade with Sandra Lee.
I knew you were going to say the episode of Semi-Homemade with Sandra Lee. That is also the only Kwanzaa-related thing I have ever seen. Like,
fucking sticking the Kinara candles into the cake.
And she is a white lady, potentially the whitest lady to ever live.
She is. And don't get me wrong, we love Sandra Lee, but that was famously, I think, the episode that Anthony Bourdain called a war crime.
No, like that was, she should have had to pay reparations to every African American in this country for what she did to that Kwanzaa cake.
Literally.
And being married to Andrew Cuomo and stuff. But beyond that, speaking of Christopher's Christmas-related...
that's kind of punishment enough, being married to Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah, I think they might have just been like partners and not married, but I could be wrong. Still a punishment. So, speaking of Christopher's Christmas-related breakdown, cut to Eddie's house, and Christopher is running Christmas like the Navy.
Like the goddamn Navy.
Eddie is probably having war flashbacks right now, thinking he's back in Afghanistan because Christopher is his drill sergeant. And he's saying, Dad, if you don't turn that fucking Christmas tree around and get its good side, out facing the rest of the room, if you don't put all of these 5 bags of lights on the tree, if you don't do 5 popcorns to 1 cranberry ratio on this string of popcorn, I'm going to get emancipated.
He's so proud of himself when he finally completes the tree. And then Christopher is there, like, it needs some sparkle. Let's add some tinsel. And Eddie's like, I don't even know if we own tinsel.
Because he's too repressed to own tinsel. Tinsel's too gay.
Christopher would do so well on HGTV. Christopher
Agreed.
would have like the best show on HGTV. I would tune in every holiday season, no matter what.
Well, he would also be an absolutely fabulous production designer of Hallmark movies. Because if you've ever watched a Hallmark movie, there is genuinely Christmas in every frame. Like, you cannot have a single frame that doesn't have a tree or a wreath in it. I look at it and it feels exhausting knowing what, like, the set decorators had to go through. But I think Christopher would thrive in that environment.
They don't even necessarily have to be Christmas movies too. Like, sometimes they'll just like have a wreath in a home that'll like have the spirit of Christmas within it. Because I've watched a lot of Hallmark movies with my grandma, and like even the ones that aren't set at Christmas have a uniquely Christmas feel that feels very constitutive of the channel.
Kind of an overly decorated quality.
Yeah, it's like it's in Hallmark world. It's either constantly always Christmas or Thanksgiving, and I'm on the couch Thanks-living.
Yes, but yes, finally, there's also this moment where Christopher tells Eddie to put several boxes of lights on the table, and the way he's like pulling them out of this bag, and Eddie seems surprised. It's like, did Christopher buy the lights himself? Like, wouldn't Eddie know that he bought all these lights?
He must have swiped Eddie's credit card, and Eddie was
honestly, good for him.
Eddie was
like
too
in the
wrapped
movie,
up being
Enchanted.
a single dad to notice. Yes, like in Enchanted, absolutely.
When she's like, he gave me his card for emergencies, and this is an emergency, and they're like going dress shopping. Ugh, I love that kind of scene.
I used to steal my dad's card to buy food. You see on the fireplace
to survive on.
just for a brief period. You see on the fireplace there are 4 stockings, and like there's only 2 of them. So either they each get 2 stockings, or there are 2 more individuals they are accounting for. Place your bets.
I'm guessing 1 is Buck and 1 is Shannon's ghost.
One of them, I was thinking one's Buck and one's Carla, and Eddie didn't even think to remember
more likely,
Shannon, because we don't see Shannon in his mind at all in this episode until later on.
We do later. I think it's fair for them not to have a stocking for Shannon's ghost, because I think there's an argument to be made that is actually not good for the bereaved child to keep the stockings around as if the mother is still alive.
But they're definitely having one for Buck. At
the Grant Nash household, first of all, they have a beautiful miniature Christmas village set up.
You know who set that all up was Athena Grant. Athena Grant set all of that up herself, and she said, I'm going to do it right.
She probably got it from the Enchanted Irish Christmas Village store from the Lifetime Christmas movie Christmas Perfection, in which a woman is transported to a life-size version of her miniature Irish Christmas village. And it's also like a Groundhog Day time loop story. Everybody better go watch that.
What makes it an Irish Christmas village?
Everybody's Irish there. I don't know what to tell you, Ryan.
She's just one of those weebs for Ireland.
Well, that's kind of the weird thing about the movie, is they kind of just have this premise that like Irish Christmas villages are like an established thing that everybody knows about. And that's part of what makes it a very surreal watch.
I don't think, maybe this is just me. Sorry, yank take incoming. But I don't primarily associate Christmas with Irish villages. If anything, if there is a style of architecture that I associate with, I think like Bavarian German architecture, maybe.
Sure.
You know, like a Bavarian
but
Christmas.
Maybe they thought it would have been too goofy to have them go to this little German town, and everybody's like, yeah, would you like some hot chocolate? Yeah.
Would
They
you
were
would
like,
you like some
we
bratwurst? I
they
can't
were
do
like, we
German.
can't have the little like rosy-cheeked lederhosen German boy going up to her and like, please, I want to have a Merry Christmas this year.
It's so easy to swing like to one side of the pendulum or the other. You either end up in Snow White or like the Reich, if you do it wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, maybe they were worried about the potential political implications. But anyway, in the Grant Nash household,
Mhm.
not only is there a adorable Christmas village, but Bobby Nash has gone out and bought like several different types of Christmas meats to roast. He's got two different turkeys, like one to bake and one to deep fry, which I call BS. No firefighter would deep fry a turkey.
A whole
No
turkey?
firefighter.
A whole turkey. You're going to drop that in
Yes.
there and light the entire place up. It's ridiculous.
Literally every Thanksgiving, fire departments across America release videos of them safely igniting a frozen turkey by dipping it into hot oil to demonstrate why no one should do it, because it will burn your house down.
But Bobby's so confident. Harry calls this out, and Bobby is over here like, not the way I do it. Like, okay, pal, didn't you burn down an entire apartment complex once? Bringing that back?
True. Imagine if Harry fired back with that. Imagine.
Oh my god, the drama kicks off right away, and then we get that tense music that's like, doom. And then there's just like exchanging like charged looks and whatnot while he runs off or something.
Oh, and the rest of season 5B is like Harry versus Bobby.
Oh my god, the war.
The war. But yes, Bobby, I guess, is going to deep fry a turkey. I guess, to be fair, it's kind of like getting sick. The best place to get sick is a hospital. It's like, if you're gonna deep fry a turkey, I guess the best person to do it is a firefighter captain. He's also gotten like a whole roast. He's gotten a ham, and he's like, well, we're gonna have all these guests because they're planning to host like Hen's family. I think Buck, whoever else.
Is the Christmas ham not a better tradition than the Christmas turkey? Did you eat turkey on Christmas growing up?
We kind of always did all sorts of things on Christmas. Like I feel like as a family, we kind of like to experiment with weird stuff on Christmas, if anything. So like one year when I was little, we tried like doing fondue on Christmas.
Ooh.
One recent year we did like paella on Christmas because
You did paella on Christmas?
Paella is like my mom's special occasion dish she loves to make. So we've done paella. I think we did like Indian food once on Christmas. Last year, well, part of my family had COVID, so we had Christmas at my apartment. This last year,
Christmas.
we got Indian food from a restaurant, which was actually really good and awesome. And I think we should do it every year.
Last Christmas, I worked until close, and then the kitchen staff made me a nice branzino dinner, which was very lovely of them.
Very nice.
But every Christmas, my mom always spearheaded Christmas, and she would like we would do ham sometimes, but we were more specialized in like waterfowl, so like a duck or goose, like a Christmas goose. That was always a fun one. We'd like splurge on like a nice goose, and invite the whole family over for Christmas dinner over.
Wow, I've never had goose. I do like duck though.
Yeah, like Christmas duck is like I feel like that's more.
That does sound luxurious.
It's more in the spirit of like a big family get. Like turkey is just so strongly linked to Thanksgiving in my brain.
Yeah.
It feels sacrilegious to do like a whole turkey.
And no matter what, you end up with like weeks of leftovers. It's like never really worth it.
You do like, and then you make the turkey sandwiches with all the fillings and the cranberry sauce, and it's so good. That's Thanksgiving to me. That's not Christmas to me. I'm sorry.
But the point is, Ryan, because we have been
Christopher
hung up on
Diaz
this scene for quite a while. We hear, first of all, finally a Michael mention. We hear that we'll have 2 less guests because he and David are gone. And also May is going to be working on Christmas, so she won't be at Christmas dinner either. And she's like, I know it's kind of crazy to work on Christmas, but I'm going to make time and a half. So
yeah, good for her. Now, Athena, she's sad about this, but May really doesn't give a fuck. And the conversation shifts to Christmas presents. May's gonna drop hers off, and Harry, our little capitalist boy, asked for cash for Christmas.
Which I feel like some kids, like, you reach an age where, you just start asking for money for Christmas. And Athena's really not having that. She's like, you can ask for anything but cash. And he's like, I'll also be accepting gift cards. I would just get him the gift cards. Like, who cares? He's giving you an easy gift for him.
But Athena is very hung up on like the unwrapping of the gifts. It's very idyllic, and it's a
Yes.
tradition and everything. So she like looks forward to it just as much as they used to and whatnot. And she really wants him to
Athena's
ask
like,
for
what do you
like
mean we won't be
presents to
jumping the
unwrap.
broom for our wedding?
God.
That is a little reference to this month's Patreon episode, in which Ryan, our friend Kyla, and I all watched 3 very uneven in quality Angela Bassett movies, in the sense that 2 were pretty good and 1 was very terrible.
Shout out to Jumping the Broom, a sinister film, and also other films that we watched. Tune into the Patreon if you'd like to learn more, and say hi to our friend Kyla. Hey, Kyla.
Hey, Kyla. Hey, Justin. But back at Eddie's house, Carla, we haven't seen Carla in a while, but here she is.
Yes. Coco Brown makes her stunning return.
Yes, Eddie has gone to Carla for advice about this whole Christopher thing. He says, I felt like I was being judged by Martha Stewart pre-Snoop Dogg, which I guess is just meant to imply that Martha Stewart loosened up a little bit after becoming friends with Snoop.
Which is true.
Going to prison and stuff.
Which is
Probably
which,
true.
which is true.
But, I mean, she was pretty loosened up before. She was making that eggnog with, like, 3 cups of liquor in it.
Oh, but also that she was like, I mean, she was a stone cold killer back in the day. I mean, you remember her feud with Gwyneth Paltrow when Gwyneth started doing Goop?
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? Honestly, deserved. Like, Gwyneth deserved to get clowned on a little for that.
She did, but also let's remind the audience not too much on Gwyneth, because that's my girl. Now, Carla
That's Holly
is
Holiday you're talking about.
Carla is being the Christmas tree whisperer, and they're talking about Chris's diva-esque
She's
attitude.
so wise.
And right as they're getting into it, and we're enjoying having Carla back, a deafening scream rings out from Christopher's bedroom.
Literally, like a horror movie. Christopher screams in his room.
He does
Eddie
a
and
damn
Carla
good scream,
rush
by the
in.
way. He does a
Oh,
damn
yeah,
good
it's very
scream.
harrowing.
He's like a scream queen in this scene. It's actually like pretty intense.
Christopher Scream Queen. When is he gonna get kidnapped by a serial killer? Sorry.
Right.
Yes. Eddie and Carla rush into his room, and he's like, I had a nightmare. And Eddie's like, oh, do you want to talk about it? Like, what? And Christopher's like, it was about Mom. Cut to commercial. The drama.
And then we go back to Taylor Kelly is at the
Taylor
firehouse doing
Kelly's at the firehouse.
news story about a gift drive happening at the firehouses of Los Angeles County. And
Yes.
she's at the 118s because the best dick of her life is there.
Okay.
Speaking of, Buck is being a stupid man and doesn't know what to get her for Christmas.
And ding, 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 he's wearing a Santa hat. He's
is.
the only one in the 118 wearing a Santa hat. There's like one
Santa
background
Buck.
B-shifter
Oh my
wearing
God.
one.
I would
Santa
let him
Buck,
do whatever he wants to me in that hat.
Okay, he is tormented over the fact that he has no idea what to get Taylor for Christmas. And he's like, Bobby and Hen's advice is like, get her something like useful to her that she wouldn't think to buy for herself. So finally he's like, what does he say? He's like,
a portable generator. A portable generator.
What if I got her a portable generator? And I do feel him, because like that is what they said. It is useful and it is something she wouldn't think to get for herself, but it's kind of just one of those vibe things where you can just sense like, no, that's a terrible gift to get for your girlfriend. It's
I
so
mean,
like,
isn't
it's
it
so like
supposed to be like
clunky and
sexy?
impersonal.
Isn't it supposed to be like
Yeah.
romantic,
Right.
Like
You could maybe spin it to be romantic. Be like, listen, when we were out camping in the woods together, sharing one small tent, gazing out at the fire, we're going to want that generator so that we can charge our phones.
my ex-boyfriend was a huge snob about like brands of like body wash and like soap and stuff like that. And so when he had like made up his mind that he was breaking up with me, for my birthday, he got me this like really high-end brand of body wash. And on one hand, I was like, this is like an expensive gift, so thank you. It was made with like all natural ingredients. It lasted me like, I want to say 10 months. It was a huge bottle, and it had a gift like bow on it, and like they had a basket. It was a cute packaging that he made for it. But like on the other hand, I was like, oh, this relationship's over.
Yeah, you never get, I would say anyone, like a body wash, a deodorant, anything that symbolically says, you smell bad.
Yeah. It's
And
like
least of all to a romantic partner. My God.
it's like getting someone like a Crest white strip. Like
Literally. It's like,
uh
oh, okay, so I smell bad to you. Got it.
yeah. But Taylor Kelly is having similar issues, it's revealed,
Yes,
because she
because Bobby
calls
walks up to
Bobby
her
over.
and he's like, "Hey, thanks for helping out at the station." And she's like, "I actually have a question for you." She holds up her phone, 2 pictures of 2 different sweaters on it. Do you think Buck would like either of these sweaters?
And
I'm
listen,
sorry.
she knows him pretty well because we know Buck is a sweater king.
He does love a good sweater. He does love a good sweater. That said, I do think a sweater in any form is a bad gift because one, if it's just a store-bought sweater, then it's like, okay, am I nothing to you? And if it's a sweater you made, I think I've talked about this on the podcast before. There's literally a sweater curse where if you give a partner a handmade sweater, you are doomed. Yeah. Unfortunately. Maybe if you're already like married for several years, like settled into that stable, healthy relationship, you can get away with it. But like your boyfriend giving him a sweater, it is not long. A sweater that you knit, it's not long for this world. But obviously that's not even what Taylor's trying to do.
But listen, this is Buck Taylor divorce seeds. So that's true. Important.
So no, I did think that at the end when she does end up getting him a sweater, I was like, as much as it's very much Buck's fault that they break up, in my opinion, this is kind of, showing like, you know, I think if this was really like the one for him, she could have thought of a better gift.
Yeah. I mean, they were meant to be sisters, but instead they had to, crawl inside each other. So anyways, Taylor's a girl failure in this relationship too, just as Buck is a girl failure in this relationship. And at dispatch, Josh answers a call. He answers a call, a very sedate 911 call from an old lady who says, I think there might be a fire. I hear a beeping.
Yes, the calmest reporting of a supposed fire ever. And yes, Josh is like, do you know where the fire is? She's like, oh, I don't know. And then he sort of clicks on the number or whatever, and he sees this long list of calls all around the holidays, like a few years now. And he's like, are you Phyllis, bitch? Like, you gotta stop calling us. And it becomes clear that this is one of those people who calls 911 like out of loneliness. I'm sure this maybe is a real phenomenon, rarely, of like, you know, you got an older person who's just kind of looking for connection and attention by calling 911.
Yeah, I mean, loneliness is a huge issue with people who are entering old age or, you know, experiencing old age isolation and whatnot. So it's not
like Ryan, who's soon to be 26.
Exactly. Like me, I'm basically already there. I can hear the church bells ringing already. And Josh, like, he's like weirdly patient with her, you know, but this entire call, I'm thinking, oh God, where's Gloria when you need her?
I was just thinking that. Imagine if Gloria had picked up on her. She would have ended this shit real fast. She would have said, girl, kill yourself.
And she would have. And she would have killed herself. Because who are you? Who are you to turn down Gloria's stellar advice? Okay? What she did nothing wrong.
I wouldn't endorse that.
Gloria. Anyways. So Buddy,
it needs to be said. Yeah.
So Josh hangs up and he's like, "Don't call back, or we'll kill you." And then at the firehouse, Buddy is having a little co-parenting talk because Eddie is sort of debriefing Buck on what their son has been up to. Nothing good. Nothing good. He's been crashing out hard.
Buck is still wearing the Santa hat.
Buck is wearing the Santa hat. It is very loud and bright.
Now that we're going through this episode with a fine-tooth comb, I kind of do want to take note of, like, is he wearing a Santa hat in literally every scene he's in? Because that would be great.
I think he takes it off when he actually goes out in the field, which is disappointing. He should have safety pinned that shit in and worn it on the job.
That is. Why couldn't he just stretch it over his firefighter helmet?
Right. But they have their little co-parenting talk. They're like, oh, Christopher's, you know, struggling. This was his and Shannon's thing because Shannon was the big holiday person. And I'm doing it wrong. I'm a bad dad. And everyone's like, yeah, that's not wrong.
It's a fair assessment.
And so Buck is offering like a sort of a bit of light pushback. It's like, you know, it's one of those times, you know, he's becoming his own person, etc. And it's a difficult thing. And
Eddie says in his fucking dramatic man way, he says, so much for the most wonderful time of the year. It's like, okay, whatever.
He's a silver screen star. He's a silver
He
screen
is.
star.
He is. He
That's like a line from like It's a
for the
Wonderful Life.
1940s.
He's a man out of time. He's like Steve Rogers, except
Literally,
without
and
the
it's rather tragic.
good qualities, you know? So, but anyways, that we don't linger on that scene. We don't linger on Buddy, unfortunately. But because we have to go to the hospital for a follow-up on the
our buddy-itis,
the awful man bigamist, Athena Grant is here to shoot these women dead where they stand.
Right. No, I'm surprised she didn't come in guns blazing, because they technically have assaulted an officer, a security guard at the hospital, not on purpose, but these women were really tussling with each other. One of them took a swing at the other and ended up hitting the guard instead.
Mm-hmm. And Athena's like, what are you doing? Because you guys are in this together. Okay, you should just make out, because like you guys have kids wrapped up in the situation. So you're gonna, you know, they're siblings. You can't really keep them apart. That's kind of fucked up. And they've met each other now, presumably. So you guys are going to be one big happy blended family, or you're going to jail, pard. And just as they, you know, the ladies start to, they start to come to like terms with like what happened. They're like, man, I never thought that, you know, he'd do all this. It's like, yeah, girl, I don't think any reasonable person would. He comes out in his little wheelchair, and she tells him
he's gay.
He comes out, he's gay, and they're gay, and everyone's gay, including Athena. And Athena, the lesbian, tells the man that, you know, bigamy is a crime in all 50 states. So he's going to jail. And they say, we want a divorce. And he goes, but it's Christmas. And that's that.
But it's Christmas. Why would you divorce me just because you found out I married two women without telling them about each other? Yeah, this guy should be flayed in the streets.
Yes.
And destroyed.
Yeah. And so these women, they come together to maximize their joint slay, and Athena walks away, and she goes, that's right, ladies, fight the real enemy. Okay, Athena O'Connor. Okay, Sinead Grant.
Literally, I was like, was that what it was referencing? Like,
it is a religious holiday, so, you know.
True.
Now, something you guys have to understand as well is that this is an office romance is about to begin. Kind of. Because we've got this woman in some sort of office. I don't know. It kind of seems like one of those, like, new, you know, like newfangled, like, this is probably some, like, software company. I don't know. Yeah. Silicon Valley type.
Yeah. She's texting her bestie about how she's finally going to ask him out. What's his name?
Marco. Like the gay guy on Degrassi.
Marco
Del Rossi is who she's trying to ask out. So you know it's doomed. The entire scene, first of all, we're getting like little group chat texts on screen, which is always cute to see, because it's like, oh, they have phones too. I'm in the world. But also, there's this extremely loud, like Kelly Clarkson Christmas cover playing like the entire time.
Yes, presumably the namesake of the episode, because it's called Wrapped in Red. I had never heard this song before.
Ever. I knew Kelly. I don't know if it's Kelly, but it sounds like her. And I knew Kelly.
No, it is. I checked on IMDb. It is Kelly.
I knew she had a Christmas album. I actually think this might be the title track of
that would make sense.
Album. Yeah, the album is called Wrapped in Red. So this entire episode owes everything to America's sweetheart, Kelly Clarkson.
Well, okay, hot take. Is it possible that Kelly paid for this spot? Because full credit to Kelly, who's an incredible artist, but the fact that the whole episode is named after the song, and the song features so heavily here, it does almost feel like paid promotion.
Imagine if every Degrassi episode, because every episode of Degrassi The Next Generation was named after a song. Imagine if every single one of those episodes was paid for by the artist or the label. Ooh.
It's possible. That should have been what the documentary was about. I never watched it, but it kind of seemed like just boring boilerplate. Like, my life was hard because I was a child actor, but also Degrassi was important to a lot of people. That's why, if anyone's wondering, side note, I had a lot of people ask me about the Degrassi documentary. first of all, I did DM the director as soon as it was announced because I was like, hey, so I'm like a Degrassi knower with some influence. Never got a reply, which fair, you know, it wasn't a very compelling DM. But then when it actually got made and the stuff started coming out about it, it just kind of seemed like such a like the Price of Glee documentary, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Like, no offense to anyone involved. I'm not saying it's bad or passionless or whatever, but it just seemed like not like it would really have any interesting, insightful details about like the production of the show or the things that I think are would be truly interesting to know. It seemed more like a very nostalgia baiting, like, let's sit down with some actors and talk about, you know, how it was hard to be a young person starring on a TV show, but end with a sort of wishy-washy conclusion about like, well, it was a phenomenon for kids and taught kids good lessons and we'll always remember it. Like, I don't know. It just seemed, it had the vibe of being a little, and this isn't just my bitterness at not being included in the documentary. Although, Lisa, you should have replied to my DM. It's mostly just, yeah, I don't have a lot of interest in it. Because also it's been like a million years. I don't really care that much about Degrassi anymore. Sorry.
Well, it reminds me a bit of, they just dropped a Hannah Montana 20th anniversary like special on Disney Plus, and I haven't watched it yet. But like I've kind of been like not interested in watching it for the same reason, which is that it feels very trite and it feels very like base, and it doesn't seem like it would actually dive into anything. It just feel like it would be just like a glorifying victory lap for the show, which is fine. You can have that, but like I don't have to watch it. And at least, like, credit to the documentary over The Price of Glee is that at least it seems like they got some people involved in the show. Yeah,
that one was just like a kind of predatory cash grab. But I think every show that was big with like millennials or Gen Z is like trying to do a nostalgia lap right now. And that's fine. But I don't think most of them are actually that interested in like investigating any kind of unanswered questions about the works. I think it's kind of just there to give you like a padded, nostalgic kind of look back at the thing in question and cover some very generic bases, like I said, the sort of like child actor stuff and you know, blah blah blah. It feels
spiritually akin to like those sequel shows that you'll see, like the new iCarly. They're like the new That's So Raven, or like the new like. Those did you guys know that they did a new Wizards of Waverly Place show starring Justin from that show, and like Selena Gomez is in like only 2 episodes, and it's like, why am I watching this?
Like,
I didn't know about this. Like, that's embarrassing. Oh, you're that unemployed. Got it.
I mean, he's very employed. David Henry is very employed in Christian movies that nobody normal watches. He was involved in the Ronald Reagan movie. He was involved in the movie Little Boy, which is one of the craziest, stupidest, evilest Christian movies I've ever had the misfortune of watching. He does that kind of thing now, and that's fine if that's what he wants to do.
That's so disappointing to be like a sexual awakening for so many gay boys. That's so
okay.
That's so sad. You know, that's like Justin Owen turning out to be like a weird Christian preacher guy.
Well, I don't know. For the record, I don't know that he's like terribly conservative. I just know that he is Christian and does these Christian projects. That said, I do think the Christian faith-based film industry, as it goes in mainstream Hollywood, does tend to be pretty conservative and evangelical. And it's one thing to be in Christian movies. It's another to be in the Ronald Reagan movie. The Ronald Reagan puff piece starring Dennis Quaid. That was kind of that's a little more of an explicit endorsement of conservatism in America. But anyway, this has been a bit of a tangent. Back at I'm seeing on the wall of the room now in this scene, the Hidoko offices. The logo and the name are kind of giving like maybe it's a camera company, a fictional camera company.
Well, I like some of the Gaga songs. What the fuck does she know about cameras? You know? But yes, this woman, she has a crush on her work friend Marco. You know what I mean?
She goes up to him and he got her a little prezzy. He got her a tiny little mini stocking. So adorable.
We have no idea what's in there. Imagine if it was an engagement ring, like, will you marry me? But she chickens out like 3 times in this call.
Yes. She tries to ask him out like 3 different times and doesn't.
She's a wimp. She's a wimp.
Finally, she's like commiserating with her group chat. And finally, as he's about to walk out the door, she's like, okay, this is my last chance. Guy, Marco, I got you a present too. I know that you love the Philharmonic because you're always going to those concerts. So I got us 2 tickets to like a Christmas sing-along concert there, which is kind of funny because not that this is a bad gift, but I feel like if he was a genuine fan of the Philharmonic, he's probably not that interested in going to like the fluffy, desperate grab to get the general public interested in the orchestra concerts, like when they do like live scoring of movies. Like he's probably going to like the real concert. Yeah. But this won't matter in a moment because we find out he's not a real fan.
It's like saying you're into like, I don't know, the New York City Ballet or something. So I got us 2 tickets to Radio City to see the Rockettes, you know?
Right. But Marco hears this and he kind of clams up and he's like, oh, you know, I would, but, and she kind of is like, oh, like you can't that day or something. And he's like, no, it's not that. And she's like, oh, you're not interested. And it's like, let the man talk. Okay. But she assumes.
Yeah, let a man talk.
Shut up, woman. No, she's like, I shouldn't have asked you. You're not into me. It's whatever. Meanwhile, throughout this scene, we've been seeing this like elevator maintenance man working on the elevator in the background. So that's been our little final destination. Like, oh God, what's going to happen with the elevator? She, in her embarrassment, starts backing away wildly right into she presses the elevator buttons and the doors do open. She just sort of backs into the open, empty elevator shaft and falls about 10 feet down. Luckily, it wasn't like they weren't on like the 20th floor of a high rise with the entire elevator shaft.
This is so sauceless. If this happened in like the first or second season, she would have been like, you know, like all of her limbs would have detached and all of her organs would have like liquidated from the impact of the fall.
Yes.
But instead, she's just chilling down there.
No, I'm sorry, but the way they've shot it, it looks like it's maybe like a 6-foot fall.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, you're fine. Like, why are you even passed out?
It's like you're going to have a bruise. I'm sorry.
Literally. But the 118 shows up. She is somehow unconscious. But Hen is able to just like revive her with smelling salts. And they find she's got like a broken arm or whatever.
Bobby. Okay. No, okay.
Oh, yeah. Bobby has a little Bobby angry moment.
Bobby has an angry moment with the elevator repair service. And like the guy is just like, well, I'm just like, you know, I'm just the guy they hired to do this. And Bobby's like, did you put any caution tape up? Because I'm indignant because I'm a firefighter and I know safety protocols. And guys, listen, if you're watching this at home, you're going to see this man, this elevator repair man, and you're going to think that he looks a lot like Lily's dad from How I Met Your Mother. Now, here's the thing, guys. You're wrong. It's a different guy. I know. I checked, and it took me by surprise.
Well, I'm sure many of our viewers can relate to that. And it is kind of funny to watch Bobby be so passionate about proper elevator safety protocols and procedure. But it is, like, to be fair, like, yeah, it's crazy that the door was just like normal and she was able to just press the button and it did open and it was just an empty elevator shaft. That is like a lawsuit.
Like, do you guys remember that episode of LA Law from like the 1980s where like that woman like dies because she falls down an empty elevator shaft because the door just opens and there's no elevator? It was like the craziest death on TV at the time.
And now, of course, we've seen way crazier.
You know, but here's this woman now. And she's just chilling, you know, with her little broken arm, and her boo comes up and he's like, here's the thing. It's not that I don't want to go on a date with you. You're gorgeous. And I would love to get all up in that. The thing is, I hate the Philharmonic. I hate the Philharmonic so much. It makes me want to gouge my eyes out because my ex played the piccolo.
And she left me for the second trombone.
Piccolo mentioned, trombone mentioned. And so
Ken should have been like, oh, I used to be first chair bassoonist. And the guy could have been like, fuck you. I hate all classical musicians.
Meanwhile, Buck's busy just being a scrub, and getting notions. But this guy is like, we can do anything else. Just return those non-refundable expensive tickets you bought to the Philharmonic. Like, give them to your mom or something. Give them to your niece. And she can have a good time at the Christmas sing-along.
Yeah, the guy's basically like, oh, I've had a crush on you for ages. If it were literally anything else, I would have said yes. And I guess he couldn't have just like explained this concisely in the moment. But to be fair, she was not really letting him talk. So she gets wheeled out of there. And Buck tells Hen afterwards that he is planning on bailing on Bobby and Athena's Christmas extravaganza because, quote, I don't feel all that merry this year. Because his family, he's missing the rest of his family, in Hen's words, and she feels the same. So she's also going to bail on Bobby. So, what are they going to do with the turkeys and the ham and the roast?
Bah humbug.
Bah humbug.
But that is too strong, because it is my favorite holiday. But all this year has been a busy blur, and I don't think I have the energy.
You know who isn't thinking that? Christopher, who is meticulously putting the finishing touches on a beautiful Christmas gingerbread house. He calls in Dad. Dad comes in with his fucking overflowing cups of hot chocolate and like the big oaf, the big stupid clumsy oaf that he is, he just dumps it all over Christopher's beautiful gingerbread house. He just goes, whoa, and drops the hot chocolate, ruining Christopher's gingerbread house.
Imagine if this was like a roundabout life lesson and he was trying to teach him, you know what? It really could be worse, so stop being a brat.
No, like it low-key, it's like, how did you allow that to happen, Eddie? I wrote in my notes, damn, Eddie just did 15 9/11s on Christopher's gingerbread house. Yeah. And I meant it. And
so what does he do? He smashes that gingerbread house and he's so pissed and he cries and it's very upsetting for us, for him, for Eddie, even though he's the idiot that caused this mess. I hate you, Eddie Diaz. I hate you. You ruined Christopher's gingerbread house that he was so proud of and excited to show you. And then it's actually about Eddie getting shot.
Yes, because Eddie's like, no, it's okay. Like we can build another one or we can do something else. And Chris is like, but you're working tomorrow. Like this all fucking sucks. And Eddie's like, it seems like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to get Christmas right. Where is this coming from? Christopher's like, I wanted everything to be perfect because you might die tomorrow on your... He basically says, you're gonna die up there. Because... And he's like, me and you, and that's all we need. Like, we'll make a bigger gingerbread house next year. Christopher says, you could be dead next year. You're gonna die up there.
What happened was Chris spends a lot of time on his computer, and he went over to AO3, and he filtered to exclude the smut, and then he searched his father's name and saw all of those fics of Eddie just dying absolutely tragically and Buck being just like overwhelmed by grief. You know what I mean? Great genre. Although Chris and I differ because I like mine with smut in there as well, but I understand why you wouldn't want to read smut about your own father.
I don't know if I would like that kind of thing. I want Eddie to live.
I want him to die. I want them all to die. You know this.
Okay, it's fair if they all die, but if just Eddie dies, we'll get accused of being evil Eddie haters some more than we already do.
He was supposed to die on 9/11 in my season 9. But anyways, Carla comes over. There's a time skip. I guess Chris is at school or whatever, or he's in bed. I don't know.
It's a 10-year time skip. Christopher is in college. Eddie is gay.
Carla is at his house, right? And immediately you're thinking, where is her family? I know she has one.
No,
she mentioned having one before.
I mean, she mentioned like her dad dying in the last season. Maybe that was her only family. That's so sad. But we do know that she has like a husband.
A husband and a kid or something.
I think she does. Yeah.
Okay, but then here's a question. I don't see a ring on that finger. What's going on with Carla that we don't know?
Maybe the forced proximity of COVID like ruined their relationship and they got a divorce.
Wow. You know, I broke up with my boyfriend when COVID hit, so that makes sense. I'm just going to project that onto her.
It was hard on a lot of people, and she could really be living her own whole drama off screen that we don't know about because Eddie never asks.
Someone write that fic. Someone write that fic. I want the Carla divorce fic, and she walks in on Buddy slamming.
And it makes her realize that she needs to divorce her husband because she's never had a love like that.
Exactly, and inshallah, we will all find a love like theirs. So Eddie's like, yeah, this is really heavy for my kid to be worrying about. I don't think I should be a firefighter anymore. This is crazy. And Carla's like, what? You got held hostage with Buddy and some dude who's like conservative now, I guess? I don't remember what the whole sitch was.
It's a whole thing.
But this is the first I'm hearing about it. And he's like, well, I didn't get hurt, so I didn't feel the need to tell anyone. And Carla's like, you stupid man, you stupid man, you stupid man, endangering your child's personal sense of safety.
To be absolutely fair, I never really liked the Eddie storyline that happens in 5B. Not because it's like terrible, but I just wish it had been built up to a little better. But to their credit, this is technically, you could interpret this as planting the seeds for that, as like this acknowledgement of like, oh, so you just like bottle this stuff up when it happens to you as long as you didn't get like tangibly, physically hurt in a dramatic way.
I don't think it's interpretation. I think that's what the scene is trying to do.
Okay, then yay.
Yay!
Back at the Grant Nash household, Eddie just canceled, says Athena.
Wait, I just want to say something else, which is that Carla and Eddie should marry the same man and they don't know it.
Ooh,
oh my god, it's
yes.
Buck.
And they
both
both have
Buck.
his children.
They're both married to Buck and they both have his babies.
It could be a thrilling alternate universe fanfic. Athena is telling Bobby that Eddie has canceled. Eddie's been canceled. No, Eddie canceled on them. And that's their 5th cancellation. So they're like, what the hell is going on? We were already working with a limited guest list.
Have you ever tried to like throw a get together and then like one by one everyone cancels and like you get that sinking like sort of pit in your stomach because you realize that it's just not going to work out. To be, and it's like devastating. That's what Bobby and Athena are going through right now. Because
they're like, do we not have any friends?
Because Hen also has to back out, or like is thinking about backing out. Because shock, surprise, Clive surprised Tony with a trip to Cabo because he got money, girl. And Hen and Karen are going to Karen's family. And so it's just going to be the two of them and Harry. And that's sad. They're going to have to eat 2 whole turkeys and a whole Christmas ham all by themselves. And
they say, eat up, Harry. You can't
Bobby
leave the table
Athena,
until all of the Christmas roasts have been finished.
They're going to be so full. They're not even going to want to have weird, kinky Christmas sex. And it's so sad. It's so sad. I guess there goes the once a year Christmas, blowjob, eating out festival.
Ew.
Okay, they're straight.
Someone calls 911, and guess what? It is Phyllis again. Now she's claiming there's a prowler in her neighborhood, and now it's Linda Bates.
Just sit Claudette on her. Are you kidding me? Just put
sit
Claudette on the phone
or like
and have her
literally
take
get
care
Gloria
of her.
out of jail to put her in front of this lady.
Track Abby Clark down like wherever she's like cooped up in like
Dublin,
like
wherever.
Santa Fe, New Mexico, and get her on the phone so she can deal with this woman. Someone needs to talk some sense into her. Linda Bates.
Yeah, and I guess at this point she's called
the one to
so
do it.
many times that Linda like immediately gets a little message popping up saying like, warning, like this is a frequent caller who doesn't usually have a real emergency. So Linda clocks her tea, and this lady's like, okay, you caught me, and they're like, Merry Christmas, goodbye.
I thought it was going to be like a Granny who cried wolf type thing, but they don't go
like
that
where
route.
She would eventually have a real emergency. That would be, in my opinion, kind of a more fun TV kind of subplot, but I don't mind what they did with her. It's more of an emotional payoff.
Yeah, absolutely, and it ties into the other characters. But yes, in the break room, Sue Blevins, the Christmas queen that you are.
Literally, she and Christopher need to have like a Christmas queen out sesh where this is the
solution. HGTV show. Chris and Sue, the Christmas fix-up or something. Wouldn't that be an iconic duo?
I'm trying to think of a pun where you could combine their names to sound like Christmas. It's beginning to look a lot like Chris Sue.
Nope.
Is what you call the show.
Nope.
And it doesn't really roll off the tongue, but it'll work for HGTV.
No. It's Sue. Wait. Never mind. There is no way to work Sue's name into that. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Sue your fucking neighbors.
Maybe there's a different Christmas song like
I'll have a Sue Christmas without you.
Right, it could be like I'll have a Sue Chris-mus.
Yes, there it is.
That's
Elvis
their Christmas
was the
special
answer.
on HGTV.
Rory
And
Flanagan was the answer,
basically
yet again.
Sue says like there's no such thing as too many twinkle lights. And of course, gay Josh laughs at that. And who should come in but
Twinkle lights.
Linda walks in. She's like, lonely lady called again. And Josh is like, no kidding. I got her yesterday. May asks what they're talking about. And Josh explains like, oh, it's, Miss Lonely Hearts. She's our holiday frequent flyer. She always reports some kind of emergency, but, conveniently doesn't actually have an emergency. And Sue says, like, sometimes with newer dispatchers, they might just, like, roll out all the help without knowing that she's this kind of frequent flyer, and then we'll waste a bunch of resources. And Linda says that she did that.
Linda knows this very intimately, this process, because she called one year complaining about a gas leak. And so Linda sent out 2 fire stations, the gas company, and like established like a 5 like block perimeter around this house, evacuating homes.
Yeah.
How is this woman not in prison? Okay.
Yeah, no, that's got to be, like, on Phyllis's part, that's got to be a crime on some level, some kind of misuse of city resources.
Like, I mean, Abby Clark says that in the first episode. It's a crime to call 911 without an emergency. And the woman's like, but they only gave me 9 chicken nuggets. I want all 10.
Yeah.
And so eat your nuggets, get some perspective, and get the hell off my line.
Of course. But they kind of, psychoanalyze Miss Lonely Hearts. They're like, she's probably just lonely and looking for attention. It helps if a firefighter or 33 of them end up visiting her.
Oh, she's a lonely lady 15.
Yeah, and it's like, I think she does have kids, but they don't talk anymore. Sometimes people drift apart, whatever. And they're all kind of like, what should we do to finally get this to stop? And Sue says, I think this time we need a stronger deterrent. Phyllis's doorbell rings, and Athena Grant is on the scene.
Shoots her in the face.
Shoots her in the face, imagine. Athena says, I heard you've been calling 911 fraudulently. After a few times, you get a slap on the wrist. But now, it's the death penalty.
Mm-hmm. And she takes her down. So I immediately feel so bad for this woman.
Yeah.
Like,
I do too.
It's such a pitiable,
pretty sad existence.
like a pitiable circumstance. And like, I feel so bad that her family, like her daughter, hates her, even though she does seem to be like the cause of this conflict.
She said that when her daughter was getting married several years ago, she said that she hated the husband and their marriage would never last. And now they've been married for like 7 years and have a child.
Yeah.
But you know what? We don't know that the mom was wrong.
No, okay, so here's the thing.
I'm going to do what you did by supporting problematic Claudette. I'm going to support problematic Phyllis. We don't know that she was wrong about the husband. I'm taking Phyllis's side here. Just because they've been married for 7 years doesn't mean it'll last any longer than that. He could have his whole secret second family.
I'm going to be a bigger man than you, and I'm going to join you on Phyllis's side, unlike what you did when I took Claudette's side. Now listen.
But Athena is like, stop calling 911 for no reason. And this lady's like, well, my daughter doesn't talk to me. And Athena's like, maybe you should try and fix that and call her instead of calling 911.
And so she does.
And
then
we cut to this family who are decorating their house for Christmas. They got the jaunty music on. They're setting up the nutcracker. And who should come home but Dad, who has purchased what can only be described as a monster Christmas tree. He bought his tree too late, and they only had the huge ones and the tiny little lame ones. So of course he had to get the big one. And his wife's kind of mad at him. He starts backing into his sort of drive. He's got one of those like garage driveways. It's like they've got like this raised house, like that's a unit in a building, and there's like a sort of on pillars, there's like a driveway under it. He's backing up, and guys, so there's this load-bearing pole you shouldn't have sideswiped, because bro,
he sideswipes it so tiny light bit. Like a gentle breeze would have knocked this shit over. He knocks off his side view mirror and whatnot, but like,
because he literally swipes. It's like a tiny little pole. It doesn't look like it should be load bearing, but he like swipes it with his mirror a little bit, and the whole house comes crumbling down. Like the front of the house just topples down on top of him. And
falls on daddy, and mommy and son are there watching in absolute horror and agony as their beloved patriarch is getting crushed by the fucking side of their fucking apartment. And
Yeah.
this is a job for Zoran Mamdani. This is a job for
Well,
Mamdani's New
he's the mayor
York.
of
If
New York and
Zoran was
not Los
on this
Angeles, but
scene,
agreed.
if
Yes.
Zoran was on this case, that landlord would have had his ass handed to him along with like a pair of handcuffs and
Well,
whatnot.
luckily, Bobby Nash, who has frequently been called the Zoran Momdani of the LAFD, is on the scene because he, of course, did that very thing to a
Right.
landlord in season 1 when
Mhm.
that ceiling collapsed. He was like ready to beat that guy to death, and
Okay,
he's kind of
But Zoran is younger and more beautiful and also more alive because
more
that was
alive.
coming
That
from a
is
place of
true.
anger versus Zoran's was coming from a place of leadership and diplomacy and a betterment for all New Yorkers. So,
Well, fair,
you know.
fair. Not too much on Bobby, but Bobby, it's implied here that yes, this is another kind of situation where we've got a shoddily built building that perhaps has not been properly inspected or maintained, because clearly a building should not be able to come down like that when you hit this dinky little pole on it.
Well, Bobby exposits a little bit because, like, apparently it was supposed to be reinforced after the quake, and it just wasn't.
That's it.
It just wasn't, and so it all came tumbling down. It was like they were living in a house of cards.
Right.
Fuck landlords.
Agreed.
Now Eddie has a little dad moment with the dad.
Yeah,
because
he keeps throwing significant looks to the child who thinks his dad has been crushed by their house.
Okay, there's supposed to be significant looks, but Ryan Guzman's version of a significant look is just like a vacant stare.
No, literally, he's just no thoughts, head empty. He's just kind of like looking
over at this
He looks
shitty little
dead
sad
inside.
child, like just like he's like, I don't know what's going on in that head. Is there anything going on in that head?
There's like one shot where he looks vaguely concerned, and then the other ones after it look pretty dead.
Yeah, but they get him out easily with just the jaws of life. They don't need to do CPR or anything. He's fine. He's got a little bit of an
Yay.
ouchie.
Yeah, he just got a little bit bonked on the head.
The problem is, Hugo, his name is, lives, but the family will not be able to return to their home this Christmas because they have to like red tape the entire thing off and basically condemn the building, leaving all of the tenants and occupants of this entire building out to dry. Okay, sad Christmas. Why am I crying now? Because this was devastating to watch.
It is sad. And I mean, imagine your house getting destroyed like the day before Christmas. That is pretty terrible. And everybody from the building.
They linger on it.
They do. Everybody from the building, well, that's for a reason, but everybody from the building gets out onto the street, and yeah, Bobby somberly tells all of them, yeah, you're all gonna have to, we've called the Red Cross, they're gonna put you up in housing for like the next however much time it takes. And yeah, imagine, like, not only do you have to leave all your belongings in there, so like, I guess no presents, like no Christmas meal, whatever you were planning, you probably won't. We see them like in what looks like a motel room later, so they're probably not going to have access to even like a good kitchen or anything. It's not great. The mom's like, but Christmas is tomorrow, because what else can you say?
Yeah.
And Bobby says, I know, and I'm sorry. And then he walks away.
Looking up at your like demolished and condemned home, like, I'll have a blue Christmas.
Yeah, they should have played that at this part just to let us know that the scene was supposed to be sad.
Yeah, the Glee Cast version.
The Glee Cast version.
This is why we donate to the Red Cross instead of the Salvation Army, because you know what the Salvation Army would have done when they rolled up?
Found all the gay tenants and shot them in the head.
Yeah. And, found all the tenants who had abortions and shot them in the head. This is bad.
It's bad. Yeah.
Bad Salvation Army, good Red Cross.
Pocketed all the money that was donated to rebuild the people's homes. Yeah, any number of... Okay, for legal reasons, we are both joking and alleging things and joking.
We are joking. This is a comedy... lighthearted.
This is a comedy podcast, and we've never meant a single thing we've said on this show.
It's never stopped anyone from taking everything we say very seriously, though, which is...
No, well, I'm not being very serious when I say we've never meant a single thing. But the 118, they're sad. They're sad, but there's nothing they can do, so they just roll away while watching the poor, sad Christmasless people in their rearview mirrors.
And you know who gets a winter wonderland at her job? The girl who has everything.
Yes, May Grant, Princess of Los Angeles, walks in. Josh, with his campy little face, is like, told ya. Christmas at the dispatch. It's great. May gets a little stocking, and she's like, oh, for me? And Josh says, little bashful shrug, it's Christmas. Meanwhile, guess who isn't so fucking lucky? This family.
While Josh is on the screen, I have to call attention to this because we have been mispronouncing Brian's name this entire time, and someone in our comments called it out. It's pronounced Safi. He's of Syrian descent. It's Brian Safi, from what I understand.
I'm going to be so real. First of all, you called him a Latin king one time, so we're going to have to scratch that one. I just kind of took your word for it. I was like, oh, I guess he's Italian. Just to clear my own name here. So if you had asked me like 2 years ago, before I had started this podcast, how do you think it's pronounced? I would have said Safi. But early on in this podcast, you said Safi. And I was like, well, that's a unique pronunciation of that last name. You must have insider knowledge that I don't. You must have listened to his podcast or something and heard him pronounce his last name. I guess I'll trust my good friend Ryan that I have no reason not to trust. So I blame this on you.
Why would you ever trust me?
I just want to say, for the record, neither of us knew like the origin of his name, but yeah, I think I assumed that you knew what you were talking about when you said Safi.
Why would you assume that I was guessing? I wasn't familiar with the name. Brian, I would like to sincerely apologize to you. I did not mean to mispronounce your name. It has come to my attention that I have, and I apologize.
Honestly, I feel like mispronouncing his name is like the least important thing on the list of things we should probably apologize to Brian Safi for. Like,
and yet, it's also the only thing I will apologize for.
And that's your right. So, guess who's not having such a great Christmas? The family whose house got destroyed because they are like in a sad motel room. The kid is still sleeping, and they're like, I think it's the first Christmas that he hasn't been up at the crack of dawn. And they're like, well, yeah, it's probably doesn't feel like Christmas to him to be in this random-ass motel room with no presents, no tree, and whatever. And they're like, oh, our lives are so hard. And they are. But the mom's like, you know what? We're alive. We're together. That's all that matters. You know, it's a wonderful life.
It's a wonderful life.
When suddenly, there's a knock on the door.
Oh, my God.
And it's Bobby Nash.
Who you may know as the Zoran Mamdani
of LA.
of LA, of the 118.
Yes.
He is in full Zoran mode here because he comes in and he's like, remember me? And they're like, you're that firefighter. And he's like, wow.
I have created a communist paradise outside your motel room because everyone has come together to share everything.
The miracle of Christmas, the miracle of community. It's gorgeous. It's very wholesome and touching, and I love it.
Bobby and Athena understandably made the choice to take all their, 16 giant slabs of meat they bought to cook for Christmas. And they're like, maybe we should put this all towards a giant cookout for all these people who don't have anywhere to go for Christmas this year.
Redistribution of wealth, redistribution of resources, community bonding and organizing. This is a socialist utopia that we are seeing here, folks.
Agreed. But unfortunately, this beautiful vision of the future we could have is marred by a truly disgusting and offensive needle drop. Because what should start playing but a fuck-ass man cover of Joni Mitchell's River? And audience listeners, you might think that I'm being harsh, but frankly,
you're not.
I think any man who has ever profited off of a cover of a Joni Mitchell song should die and should be put to death, despite me not believing in the death penalty. I think we should make an exception for this.
I agree with this. I was similarly disgusted, revolted, taken aback, especially because they got like a Luke Bryan or like a Toby Keith style.
Yeah, it's like not even an interesting man cover. It's like the most boring man cover of
like a
Joni Mitchell song you could possibly
country piano ballad.
Just not even, I would say. It's not even really giving country. It's just completely generic. It's like the kind of music you hear in the dentist's office. And even that is a bit of an understatement, because the last time I was at the dentist, they were randomly playing like songs from Disney Channel's Zombies, which I thought was rather inspired. So I posit that even the dentist would have better taste than this.
And even on that note, I mean, the only reason they chose River is because it's on a list of Christmas songs, air quotes. But the tone and lyrics of the song have fuck all to do with what we're seeing now. It's the complete opposite. Exactly. It's like the worst Christmas song choice you could have made, corrupting one of the most beautiful songs ever written, from like the greatest album ever written, from the greatest singer-songwriter to like ever live. I'm like gnawing at the bars of my enclosure to find whoever made this decision, and I'm going to find that person, and I'm going to sit them down in a chair, and I'm going to show them like the entire like whatever fuck ass musical biopic. I'm gonna get an early cut of it with Anya Taylor-Joy as Joni, and I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna say, "You learned something. You learned something from this."
Okay, counterpoint. I don't think whatever future Joni Mitchell biopic we're gonna get is gonna teach anyone anything good about Joni Mitchell. I think it's probably gonna be another stupid failure.
Well,
if I have anything to say about it,
if it delves into the Joni Bob Dylan feud, which I want to know every detail of. No, it's just going to be
another generic, stupid ass, flattening of a complex person's life to make a quick buck off of popular music.
I don't even know who's playing Carole King in it.
I didn't know anyone was playing anyone in this.
Well, Anya Taylor-Joy is playing Joni Mitchell.
I just know she once said that thing about how, like, Taylor Swift better not play me in my biopic, which, like, yeah, fair enough. And I know Amanda Seyfried really wants it. And you know what?
Amanda would have done great. Something. Amanda would have been incredible. She did that great live cover of California on Jimmy Fallon's show.
I think her voice would have been all right. She's too pretty, though, to be frank.
She is too pretty. That is true.
And I don't say that as any kind of knock to Joni Mitchell. It's just like, that's part of the way that biopics flatten these people, in my opinion, is by choosing these Hollywood beautiful people to play them. But yes, as you say, it really has nothing to do with the episode thematically. I mean, maybe they were trying to end on a bittersweet note because of the final cliffhanger we get, which is, of course, bittersweet. But I don't know. Yeah, why couldn't it just be real Joni Mitchell's River? Like, was this cover... Because this cover is still, like, the intellectual property of the song. So, like, is the cover... I mean, surely the cover is cheaper than the real version, but, like, if you're gonna pay for the song, like, the rights to the song, then why not get the real one?
Or
I'm just flabbergasted.
Just do a more thematically appropriate Christmas song. It's not like there's a shallow well to choose from. It's like it's the deepest well of, like, novelty songs in existence. Just pick any of them.
I think they should have just gone for a classic crowd-pleasing favorite, Paul McCartney's Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time, which probably they've already used, but I love it, so I want them to use it again.
So we get a montage to this fuck-ass man cover of River. We see the lonely lady reunion with her daughter and her ugly husband. Taylor is glowing absolutely glowing at the communist paradise Christmas.
Agreed.
Where they're, like, serving food. Granted, there's also the happy office couple who didn't die like LA Law. They're getting Chinese and a movie. Presumably they scalped the tickets to pay for the evening. And then Harry goes to get his gift from under the tree. And May's like, Athena's like, "You sure you want to open that? That's from May." And Harry's like, "I called her. She said it was cool." And then he goes and he gives it to the son of the family who, like, got crushed by the side of their apartment building. It's so wholesome and sweet. Oh,
right.
Like, he's learning the value of socialist, like,
literally
giving.
When he's been the most capitalist character. This is really quite the socialist ending. Like, we got the perspective on the way that capitalism creates, like, horrible slums because, landlords in pursuit of capital are not incentivized to actually keep housing safe and affordable for people.
But
so
like
we
Robbie?
got that message, and then, oh yes, exactly like Robbie. Hear that, Robbie, and reflect. And now we're getting this, capitalist Harry finally getting his comeuppance and learning that there's more to life than making money. And actually, you should share if you have ample resources. But yes,
Share.
Buck and Taylor Buck and Taylor run off together. Okay, fair enough. Buck is no longer wearing a Santa hat, but I think it would have been really funny if he still was. He has gotten Taylor a little box. He got her a box. Oh my God. Oh my God, there's something inside the box. She opens it up and it's a bracelet. A big ugly bracelet. And Buck's like, actually, it's not just a bracelet. It's a beacon. It's an emergency distress beacon. And Taylor's like, you got me something that tracks my whereabouts 24/7? And Buck's like, no. He's like, no, it's not a tracker. It's a beacon.
It's not an air tag.
It'll only send help. Imagine. It'll only send help if you press it. Like if you need help, you know, if there's an earthquake, fire, flood, tsunami. He doesn't say that, but he should have. Whatever it is, you hit that button and we will come to your rescue. And Taylor is very moved and she says, I got you a sweater.
Oh,
it's in the car.
They're not gonna last.
No, but they sure had a lot of fun. I mean, Buck does say, I already love it. And you know what? He probably does, because he does love a good sweater.
So, you know, they are perfect for each other for now. And I hope Buck doesn't do anything horrible and catastrophic to destabilize this loving relationship. And we end up never seeing Taylor Kelly again, because I guess she moves on to greener pastures. Now, listen, the blended family from the beginning, the two women, no man in sight, thank God. Just the two women are having a lovely Christmas morning with their like little, you know, blended family. And there's this sweet moment where one of the moms looks at the other Ann Coulter ass mom and says, is it just me? And she's like, it's true. They have the same smile. And that's sweet.
Oh my God, they finish each other's sandwiches.
They finish each other's sandwiches. They're going to make out.
No, these gay moms, I'm so excited for their family to grow and blossom. Back at the communist Utopia, Hen makes it to the party. She's got Denny in tow. And they she and Buck, who is back in the Santa hat. This has to mean something. You guys. Buck is back in the Santa hat, and he and Hen look over at Eddie, who's having some kind of deep conversation with Bobby.
Unusual for him, because he normally doesn't do that.
Yeah, they shake hands and hug, and Buck's like, wonder what that's about. And Hen's like, I don't know. Eddie comes over.
And calls over two main cast members and one recurring.
Yes, he calls over Buck, Hen, and Robbie. And oh my God, Buck has taken off the Santa hat, because presumably he knew that this was about to be an emotionally poignant scene, and he didn't want the audience to not be able to take it seriously. I think that's a cop-out.
That's cowardice.
Exactly. We should have been able to cut to Buck in the Santa hat looking heartbroken. So everybody's like, is everything okay? Is everything okay with Christopher?
It's Eddie like the show is allergic to creating iconic images. It's fine.
Literally. I'm going to edit this scene to like cut back to Buck in the Santa hat.
Yes.
Eddie's like, Christopher's worried about me. He's worried about all the risks I take while I'm at work. And Ravi, for some reason, is like, that's a lot for a 10-year-old child to be thinking about. And Eddie's like, yeah, it is. So I think I have to make a change. Guys, it's the mid-season finale. So here's a bomb to drop. I'm leaving the 118. Cut to Buck, not in a Santa hat, looking extremely aggrieved by this.
Clap if you care. Clap if you care.
Okay, so I don't mind the idea of Eddie leaving the 118. I don't mind the storyline that ensues. I don't really like that it comes completely out of nowhere starting in this episode. And then, like, from what I remember, the next episode, he's, like, not working there anymore and working at Dispatch. So it's like, could we not have sprinkled a few more seeds in there? Like, I'm sure you could argue, like, oh, he got taken hostage, so that was foreshadowed. Like, no, it's not. Not really. Like, this episode was the first time we heard any mention of, like, Christopher being affected by that, or Eddie having any insecurity about whether he should keep doing the job. And this happens a lot with Eddie, where if he has a dramatic storyline, it just feels like it comes out of nowhere, and that bothers me. And I think it's part of what makes him feel like a less developed and grounded character than the others, is like, they're just not like doing natural groundwork and natural buildups in the way that other characters do. Not that this doesn't happen occasionally with other characters, but with Eddie, it really feels like they're kind of grasping. They don't really have a lot in his inherent character that they can build like stories out of, because they haven't done a lot to like create a like fleshed out character with him. So they'll just kind of like pick a random thing And instead of even taking the opportunity then to build it up and like do some character work with Eddie, they're just suddenly like, oh, Christopher all of a sudden is like having nightmares again and he's scared about his dad dying. Like, why not do this immediately after, like immediately when the season picks up? Because that would have been immediately following Eddie's shooting. Like, it bothers me a little. And I do think it starts, it starts this trajectory of Eddie's breakdown storyline not really feeling fully earned to me. That was Boggy, if you heard that. Punctuating. She said period. And yeah, so that's my only problem. And I hate that when you try and bring up like writing issues like this with Eddie, people will just be like, oh, so you hate my son Eddie and you want him to die and you want him to be roasted. You want him to be burned alive in the streets. And it's like, well, yes. But also what I'm saying, I'm talking about the writing, right? I'm talking about the way he is written. And if anything, I would argue that if you are an Eddie stan, you should think this, because it's like, you should be asking the question, like, why is he treated differently than the other characters? Why do they not care about him? That's, I think you could really perceive this as an injustice to the character of Eddie, that he doesn't get the well thought out storylines that other characters do. So think about that.
Well, in fairness, there has been, generally speaking, a dearth of those storylines in recent years. So I'm not sure how fixable this issue is in the current day.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying in season 5, as far back as like season 3, Eddie was getting these types of storylines. So
it's true.
What's the deal?
I have no counterpoint to this because I agree with you. I just wanted to lean into the mic once again to remind everyone that Eddie just said that he was quitting in a very anticlimactic way that kind of aborts a lot of the tension of the moment.
Well, it's a cliffhanger, to be fair.
But still, like you said, comes out of nowhere and isn't given any space to breathe in the narrative. And so with that, I'd like to remind everyone of my prompt, which is clap if you care.
Clap if you care. And with that, thanks for listening to another hateful episode of the First Respadcast.
We were a little hateful this episode. I was particularly hateful this episode, wasn't I?
I was just feeling the Christmas spirit like that.
We had a Krampus Christmas, and exactly. I think that is very on brand for us. And I make no apologies. If you guys would like to hear more of our Krampus or Krampus adjacent takes, follow us on social media at First Respadcast, spelled how it sounds.
Or if you'd like to come to our defense whenever people get mad at us on Twitter for saying innocuous things, follow us on Twitter.
Exactly, spelled how it sounds. If you'd like to support us even further, subscribe to our Patreon, where we put out new bonus episodes every single month, and at a certain tier, you can vote on those.
You can even suggest them.
Our new Christmas, not Christmas, our new Patreon bonus episode that has fuck all to do with Christmas, unfortunate as that may be, is out now. Where we watched a selection of Angela Bassett movies. We watched Jumping the Broom, a movie no one should watch. We watched What's Love Got to Do with It? A movie you can watch if you can stomach the content. Should watch. And Waiting to Exhale.
A movie that everyone should watch.
That movie is so good.
Was there really no Christmas in Waiting to Exhale? Kind of feels like there should have been.
Did they do Christmas in Waiting to Exhale? I don't know. But it definitely had...
It's a very summery feeling movie, to be fair.
It is a very summery feeling movie, but it did contain a lot of the spirit of like what you enjoy about these sort of Christmas tales, which is togetherness,
family,
community,
and togetherness. Yeah.
But also in a very sexy way, which we love, starring four of the most gorgeous women alive. Exactly. With that, thank you guys for tuning in to this wonderful jolly episode of the First Respadcast. Guys, just remember, if by some freak accident the side wall of like your apartment does come down, just pray that it happens on Christmas Eve, because you never know if there's going to be a socialist utopia on the other side.
And Merry Christmas in April to you and your wives and your other wives.